Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the RSL show with the family. We're all back together, except for Isaac. He went to go watch wrestling because he's a 27-year-old man-child. But you know what? I say that, and Josh, I know that you want to be at Raw right now.
Oh, absolutely. I would much rather be there than talking with you guys about RSL. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why didn't you get tickets?
Uh, Honestly, I just went to Disneyland and I'm broke. So,
Oh, dude, it just phased me, bro. I could have. Where is it at? What is it at the Delta
it's
Center?
at Delta Center, yeah.
Oh, dude, I could have talked to KSL. They could have gotten me like a credential to go shoot that. Maybe I don't think so. I don't think wrestling allows their footage to be. They wouldn't want that footage anyway. Never mind.
No, but I think last time they were here, like Lauren was there with KSL doing something, I believe, or maybe it was ESPN 700. So maybe
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be
either
cool,
way,
man.
next time.
Yeah. Anyways, we're just jealous of Isaac. Cool. We live in Salt Lake City, one of the best cities in the United States. Well overpriced. Hey, the bees. We know the bees are moving to Daybreak, but I actually got to see like where they're going to build it in Daybreak. And I'm old enough where I'm like, dude, this is just going to create bottlenecks of traffic. It's going to get hard to get around already as it is. Bro, oh my God, I turned 35 and I'm just like old man Jones over here, dude. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. I'm right there behind you.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have the infrastructure for this.
There's only 2 lanes in and out of here.
Yeah, I went golfing, dude, and my friends were talking about water rights, dude, of all things. Water rights. And how we're going to run out of water and how Arizona's running out of water by 2050. Anyways, I feel like I should hang out with Trey more because he's way older. And I feel like we'd be way more on topic with Trey than we would be with like Alex Napolis. Alex, what do you talk about with your friends?
Um,
Like Super Smash Brothers?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The latest movies? I don't know.
Sometimes movies, mostly sports, and then sometimes Super Smash Brothers.
Wow. See, I knew that, dude. I knew
Yeah.
it. I knew it. All right, let's get to what everyone wants to talk about and why everybody tunes in. And by the way, we just got to thank you. We got to say hi to all of the OGs who have been listening to the RSL show from its inception, from the very beginning. Thank you, guys. We couldn't do this without all of you and your immense support. You guys know who you are. Thank you so much. Also, real quick, full circle moments. Mitch has moved back from Portland to Salt Lake City. If you guys remember Mitch, he would often show up to shows not watching the matches, but he still had plenty to say, and it would piss off people because they would be like, why is he even commenting on the RSL show or Real Salt Lake? We love him to death for it, but he was kind of one of the OGs that started the show with you and Jake. You, when I say you, I mean Josh. But he's moved back, and he's not going to like officially like come back on the show anytime. But I'm sure he would love to come in and hang out and talk shop with us here and there. So that's really, really cool. Really, really fun. And so yeah, if you guys missed Mitch at all, he's back in town, and he might hop on some episodes to talk about soccer because he always had that European touch, that European side of things. And I don't know if it's relevant anymore because Major League Soccer is really kind of doing its own thing, but would be fun to get his insight. So we're all excited. All right, Josh, let's just get to it, dude. You don't look happy. Tell us why you're not happy with Real Salt Lake right now. Let's just start there.
Suck, bro. Is there really anything else to say? We're garbage. We're a hot piling, steaming lump of you know what. We look absolutely abysmal.
All right. We'll come back to Josh in just a moment. Alex, what's your outlook, dude? I know that you tend to be a little bit more on the positive side sometimes. Sometimes you'll acknowledge what's wrong with Real Salt Lake, but I feel like you got a really good twist on things sometimes. So where do you put Real Salt Lake right now in terms of performance, morale, and Pablo Mastroeni's leadership?
Morale seems shot. Confidence wise, this team has really, really struggled since that loss to Monterrey. RSL has been, they've been on a decline since that Leagues Cup break, and I attribute a lot of it to confidence. I attribute a lot of it to defensive mistakes that we weren't seeing, and I think that in partly goes hand in hand. They got to figure it out. When you have an international break like they just did, and you're still playing the same way, you're still going out there with what seems like no answers. You got to go out there and you got to figure it out. And I think it starts with coaching. I think it starts with the players' confidence, and that's kind of where we're at right now. I see an RSL that just lacks confidence.
Absolutely. There's no really, any other reason to explain why we're conceding goals in the first 10 minutes, if not the first 2 minutes, right? Like, it's absolutely unacceptable. They do not look prepared to play whatsoever, right? The whistle blows and we're flat-footed and we're getting scored on immediately, and that's not the way to start a game. I think there's some guys that need to hit the bench, right? I know that doesn't help confidence, but at the same time, conceding horrible goals every time you're on the field also does not help confidence for the whole team, right? If you're Chicho, if you're anyone up front, in an attacking position and you're watching Oviedo or Glad or whoever just concede, right? That doesn't give you confidence. So you have to build from the back. They're not going to build anything. So it's front to back. It's horrible. And I don't know how you change it, right? This isn't a personnel issue. This team they've lost themselves and they don't know how to find their way back. And this is what, everyone said Pablo's strength is for the longest time. And I don't know. Is it his strength? We have to question it now. We're on a absolutely abysmal slide, but at least it goes to show that Colorado's way worse than us, and that makes me feel better, slightly.
Yeah. Alex, you had plenty to say on the last episode, dude. You kind of broke it down, the results with Real Salt Lake. You had your comments about the Musovski situation, which a lot of people seem to be blind on, especially on the Facebook side, where he's not, participating or training with the first team. Alex, you had a lot to say about Musovski, and I just kind of wanted to weigh in on that. I think as a professional, I have to I get that it's you want to show up for your team and you want to be a part of the team, but also I think for a club like Real Salt Lake, there have been glimpses and moments where they can be a little bit selfish, and Musovski, I think, is just kind of bringing that professional pressure back to where you haven't really seen that kind of confidence to where, hey, if you're not going to negotiate or come to terms with a contract that I am happy with, I'm going to lay the pressure on. We saw that with Ochoa, but Ochoa didn't really have a leg to stand on. But Musovski, where he's one of our playmakers, scoring goals, probably one of the biggest threats that we have up front, I think the dude has earned it. And the fan side of me wants to say, hey, dude, can't be doing this to Real Salt Lake. But when I look at it as an athlete in all of Major League Soccer, lay the pressure back and see how the club responds. And I think if there hasn't been an update since, on the Musovski situation, I'm really interested to see how the club handles it, what the FO does, and how we can just basically, get him back participating. You guys have anything to say on that?
I have to disagree entirely. He has put up some numbers, right? But not for very long, right? He's got a couple games with some numbers in it. That to me doesn't mean you need 100 and whatever % raise immediately, right? Continue to perform, finish out the year, continue to perform well. Maybe we'll talk. He wants almost DP money. He wants Gam-Tam money. He is not worth that money at all, right? Look what happened to Rubio Rubin. He scores 2 goals. We signed him to this huge contract that's way too much for a Rubio Rubin. He's been average at best since, right? Holding out, for me, it gets me nowhere, right? I wish we could trade him right now. I hope he never steps on the field for RSL again. I'm really quite sick of players being selfish and hurting the team. And yes, I do believe they should get theirs, but holding out and refusing to play doesn't do it for me, right? Especially with, where a team is the star, et cetera, et cetera. That just puts a damper on everything and ruins your whole philosophy. So I think the FO needs to hold out. I think they need to, if they want to come to terms with the lower amount, sure, but I'm fine if we just move on for him and he doesn't see the field ever again.
Now, I want to add this too, since I did the last solo show. From obviously, I don't know what the numbers he's asking for voter. It sounds like it's close to that DP, that GAM TAM money, and I just haven't seen it from Danny. You go back and listen to our earlier episodes. I didn't think Danny was going to be this good, but I still don't think that he deserves to be at that level just quite yet. You got to be out on the field to prove it. You got to be out on the field to prove that you are worth what you are worth. And at this point, from what I've heard from what Dunny said on television, from what I've heard from, that post-game presser that Mastroeni did after the San Jose game, I see a very, very difficult road for Danny Musovski to ever play for Ross Lake again. Never say never. Obviously, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I don't see a way back from this from Danny.
Yeah, and for me, it would be one thing if he's put together 3 seasons with, 10-plus goals and a couple assists. He hasn't. He was non-existent for us after we traded for him last year. And he has scored some goals for us this year, but he still isn't putting up huge numbers. Not numbers that you can go find a young kid in Europe to put up the numbers for you. You know what I mean? He's not worth it for me.
So do you think it's a ploy just to get out of RSL? Knowing that, Real Salt Lake's probably not going to grant him that money. And I didn't know the amount. So that's actually when you drop that and you say that it wants to get paid with like a DP, okay, that changes my opinion quite a lot on that.
DP might be pretty high, but Gamtam for sure. He would definitely make a pretty significant impact on the salary cap.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that he's just playing hardball to maybe just get a move out and just go to another club?
No, I don't, because if he really, just wanted to go to another club, he would just finish out the season and go to another club, right?
He wouldn't even be engaged in those talks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he's being, sorry, Danny, I think you're being a piece of shit.
Moose.
And from what it sounds like, from what I've heard from Pablo, from what I've heard from Denny, from in those interviews and those television spots, from just kind of the feeling around the club right now, is it seems like most people would agree with that statement. Is they've lost confidence in Danny Musovski as a teammate. I don't see a way for this to be fixed for Danny.
Well, so, if it's us, for example, if I was like, Andy, Alex, I'm not going to do the RSL show anymore unless you give me this. You give me that, but then how's our working relationship after that, right? It doesn't work. Because now I'm looking at you guys, you're looking at me, you guys are looking at me going, Josh doesn't care about us. He cares about Josh, and he cares about what Josh gets out of this. He's not in it with the team. He's in it for himself. And that just doesn't work in this team environment that we've built, right? Where everyone's there for each other, everyone has each other's backs. It just doesn't work. And yeah, I hope he's in Vegas, going to the hacked casinos and having himself a time.
Gotcha. So Danny Musovski, let's just kind of look at it. 27-year-old. I would say he's probably at the tail end of his career. I don't think that I don't know. What's considered prime, you guys think, for MLS? Especially in his position.
He's in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think he's hit his ceiling. Like, I don't think he's going to be any better than he is now. He's never going to pop off with 20 goals. You know what I mean?
Right. Especially if you were technically in your prime and then LAFC was just kind of quick to get rid of you.
They didn't even hesitate. What does that say?
Yeah. Yeah, it's you've come to the wrong farm to milk the wrong chicken. I don't know. There's got to be a cool saying around that.
Yeah, RSL isn't the place to come and sit and demand money. Albert did it, backfired. Ochoa kind of did it, backfired.
Oh, Ochoa backfired, bro.
Well, he would. Backfired.
Yeah,
I think Yura did it. Who else has done it? Either way, it hasn't worked out for anyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it either constitutes a move or just a bad taste and all that stuff. Let's see. What else do we want to comment on? Alex Napolis, you spoke about Santi Morales, dude. Santiago getting signed to Inter Miami CF. That's actually dope. A lot of people would say, "Oh, we wish it would have been Real Salt Lake," but we kind of hosed Javier Morales. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it. It was a really, really bad breakup, and he's moved on, man. But Santi, dude, that's really cool, man. Going to be in the presence of Messi and his dad, and it's going to be really cool to watch. And I'm so excited for that development, man. That's a really cool story.
Honestly, too, from what I've seen from Santi, like watching that game last year where Inter Miami played RSL in that final, he has a high ceiling. He has a very high ceiling, and I think he has a lot of potential. Working under Lionel Messi, he'll learn a couple things or two from Lionel, and I think Santi has a super bright future ahead of him.
Yeah. Josh, anything to add, man? I know you love Javi Morales.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? You're correct. We absolutely hosed him. Everyone knows it. I hope the clubs reached out to him. They've done right by him since as much as they can. I just hope one day he can find his way home. Thankfully, he still loves the fans. He absolutely loves us still. But it's hard to go back to the ex that broke your heart, right? So I'm glad Santi's playing professionally now. It's super cool. We used to watch him, run on the field after the game as a very small child and score some goals, and now means we're getting old. That's what that means. But it's very cool.
Oh boy. Yep. Cool. Also, Alex said that we were on vacation. That is not correct. Well, Josh went to Disneyland. I've been working tirelessly on video edits, dude. I'm really excited. I was given a video for it's not for Lionel Messi, but it's a video about Messi's arrival and the Leagues Cup journey and all that stuff. It's going to be published on Major League Soccer outlets here soon. I'm anticipating that they'll throw it on Apple TV. I'm really proud of it. Spent a lot of time on it. So that's what I've been doing. I have not been on vacation, Alex. I've been quite the opposite, dude. But it's so good to be back talking about Real Salt Lake. All right. So let's look at the last result. We'll just kind of recap this one a little bit. It's kind of interesting because the stats would say that Real Salt Lake played pretty well, and we probably should have won this one. Obviously, the result didn't go that way, and the play on the field didn't dictate that. But when you look at stats, we had 19 shots versus 16 on San Jose. Possession was huge, dude. We were 56 to their 44. We outpassed them by 103 passes. So 516 to 413 if you want to get into that. We had a couple more fouls, but, San Jose did have more corners. On paper, if you looked at this and you reversed the scoreline, it would make sense. But why do we think this happened? Why do we think that we ended 2-1? Who wants to elaborate on it?
We're abysmal defensively. We are making silly mistakes. We're not tracking our runs out of the midfield. We're not clearing the ball properly. We're not tracking guys running at all. We're starting guys that shouldn't be starting. Tell me when to stop, right?
The list can go. The list is a pretty long list at the moment. But kind of go back on those stats. I think it just shows that RSL woke up in the second half. I wouldn't say it was the best second half, but I did like a lot of the fight and a lot of what RSL showed on that second half, and I think it's something that they can definitely build upon. However, those first 35 minutes were rough. And at that point, San Jose is already up 2-0. Might as well just sit back. And they did that. They sat back. They just sat on what they had. They held on to what they had. And I think that's why you see the stats the way the stats are, is because RSL came out guns blazing in that second half, and San Jose just sat back and were happy to hold on to that 1-goal lead. Like I said, better in the second half. I think it's something RSL can really build upon, but it'll just depend on what happens on Wednesday night, man.
And are we hopeful going into Wednesday?
No.
given where we are. And man, we're still feeling obviously the effects of Pablo Ruiz being out. It just also, I mean, that seemed to have been just like the direct impact, the direct correlation. It's just been a disaster since.
If one guy being gone makes you lose, what, 6 out of your last 7, you have much bigger problems.
And I think I've said this before, too, it's just everything that's kind of led up to this moment of where we're at has just struck this team's confidence so much. You got the crash out to the Leagues Cup. You lose Pablo. You lose to Houston. You lose Danny. There's all these situations that have kind of just culminated to what we see now, and it's just a team who's just lacking confidence, and seems to be struggling to figure out how to fill in that void in that midfield.
If you're Pablo, Alex, do you start Justin on Wednesday?
I would give him a break. I would give him a break mostly because he's played a lot even through his rough patch, and it'd be cool to see what Kevin Lambert's got. I think he's a guy that's been rated highly by Pablo, by people at the club. He's a guy that they like a lot, and so it'd be really interesting to give him the start and just see what Kevin's got. Give Glad a little bit of a break. However, you might see him start just because Vera is suspended and won't be available.
Yeah. Either way, that's a player that really needs to find his form. And honestly, my confidence will be gone if Oviedo is playing.
It is honestly surprising to see how much he's played over the course of the last couple of games.
It makes no sense.
I thought Emekanelli was for sure secured that right back spot. I thought Emekanelli was going to be the guy at that right back position, Brody on the left. That's what they were running. I thought that's what they were going to run with, but Oviedo has somehow made his way into the starting 11. And that left side is hurting. And it's been hurting for the last month.
Yeah. Well, and let's be honest, Oviedo and Brody are on the struggle bus, right? Neither of them are playing well. And when you have both of your outside backs not playing well, and probably your best outside back on the bench was a rookie from Cornell, who's also a defensive midfielder or also a winger, like that's red flags. And I think, anytime you improve the squad, right? Like we improved, our midfield and our attack core, like with our strikers. But now that's really now shine the light on the defense and shown that, now that needs work now, right? And I feel like anytime you improve a position, other positions kind of stick out where you need to buff them up. And right now, our focus really needs to be on the defense this offseason.
Yeah, no matter what happens this season, no matter how Arsenal finishes the season, I think we've been exposed defensively. I think teams have really figured out the ways to pick apart that defense, who over the course of the last year and a half has been pretty solid overall. They've come in, they've figured out how to pick apart that defense. The confidence is just not there. You got to figure out what you're going to do to reinforce that defense. I think it's time where, yes, I would love to see an Emeka experiment continue. However, I think you need to focus on those fullback positions because we are struggling there, and I think you need to bring in another solid center back.
I think you need a DP center back at this point. You need a guy that's an absolute stud. Yep. And then, you keep Emeka in there, you keep Brody, but you bring in 2 more guys that can really push them. You bring in starters, and then you push the other 2 to take their jobs. And to be completely honest, you either give Beavers a starting job or you find another goalkeeper. Because I think McMath's time has come to an end as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that a lot of us look to Justin Glad for that leadership on the back line, but you could instantly tell that if an easy quoted, I don't know, I don't want to say easy goal because I don't think a lot of goals come easily, but if
these goals are coming easy, you can say it.
All right, if there's an easy goal and he's solely responsible, you could tell it just affects him right then and there. He gets in his head, and then from there you lose Justin. Who else do you have? So it's been a little bit of a catastrophe from it's been a roller coaster ride, right? From not happy to almost bliss, and now we're kind of going back down. And in classic Major League Soccer fashion, here we are, finding ourselves in 6th place in the Western Conference.
Unfallen.
Yep, a little bit above the playoff line. And it's classic Real Salt Lake, dude. I just cannot. We've been doing this for years. We've been covering for years. You guys, the fans who are listening, you guys have been supporting Real Salt Lake for years. When is it going to change? When are we going to ever enter the playoffs comfortably, rather than just kind of squeaking in?
I think this Wednesday game is going to tell a lot. If RSL goes out and gets the 3 points, they're still in full control of their destiny. They control everything. They hold the cards. They have the advantage with 3 points on Wednesday. However, you don't get the win. You get a draw and you lose on Wednesday. I think we're going back to scrapping to stay in the playoffs, right? Everything is just so tight. And you got teams crawling up behind you. Vancouver's already jumped RSL. Houston's already jumped RSL. You lose this game on Wednesday, FC Dallas, who is in 9th place or 10th place, could very well jump Real Salt Lake. So we're at a point where you need to win on Wednesday and control your destiny. If not, we're going to be scrapping.
How hot is Pablo's seat getting?
That was my next question. Is I was going to ask you what has to happen for Real Salt Lake to part ways with Pablo Mastroeni. I think his seat is safe, bro. Like, if the seat is hot, they gave him like a nice little cooling pad for his butt so he doesn't feel it. That's just how I feel. But what would you like? What do you think would have to happen for Pablo to be removed from his head coach position?
Probably have to pretty much lose out and miss the playoffs. That would have to be it, right? If that wasn't it, then I would have big questions.
Yeah. I mean,
but at what point...
Or go ahead.
I was going to say this, and this is, sorry, Trey, this is just Josh being Josh, but at what point do the quality of your players exceed your coaching ability? Do you know what I mean by that? Like, you're bringing in DPs, you're bringing in guys that are very good at soccer, whereas before you're still with professionals, but you're bringing up monarchs, you're bringing up mid-tier guys. At what point does your coaching style, et cetera, not work on the higher tier guys? Because I do believe teams outgrow their coach as they get better roster-wise. I firmly believe that. And that's everywhere. That's not just RSL.
I mean, we saw a perfect example of that is FC Dallas, who's coming in on Wednesday. You go back a couple years where they had a fantastic, tremendous roster. They were arguably had one of the better rosters in Major League Soccer under Lichi Gonzalez. And Lichi Gonzalez didn't really live up to the hype, didn't really live up to his coaching, and was sacked because they didn't make the playoffs, despite having one of the better rosters in Major League Soccer. At what point, and I agree with Josh, at what point do we look at that and say, maybe this team has reached its peak with Pablo Mastroeni?
Yeah, I'm not saying, and to clarify, this isn't me saying Pablo out. Nothing like that, but it's something to think about.
Yeah, just like what would have to happen?
I think it'll just really depend on how RSL finishes the season. If they completely crash out, if they completely fade out and crash out and don't make the playoffs, there's no way Pablo can continue.
Yeah.
Love you, Pablo, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean
that's sport, right?
Yeah, we got to say it. We got to talk about it. Because I'm getting quite sick of the same season on repeat. It's not fun. So for clarification,
especially when you look like you're gonna come away with 1 to 3 pieces of silverware, and then you come out with, at this point, looking like nothing, right? So
we'll have to go back and listen to, what our opinions were, because I remember, I think I'm remembering that a lot of us were, we had what ifs, right? What if we don't make the Open Cup final? What if we don't advance to that? I know we had things in our bucket of what we would want to see change, and as time goes by, we forget the things that we say. But losing and not going to an Open Cup final, or at least having that on the calendar, it's unacceptable. Just with all the momentum that we had and we're realists. We didn't think at that time that we were going to be a contender for MLS Cup. It was somewhat on the horizon, but we held the Open Cup a little bit higher because we were playing well, and there was no reason that we shouldn't have advanced to that for a Inter Miami CF final or whatever. So there's just been a lot of missed opportunities, and I just want you to ask yourself as a fan, it's like, okay, where do you draw the line? Are you always going to be that happy, fun, on to the next fan, just kind of go, something to do on Saturday, take your kids, forget about work for the week? For some people, that's okay, and that's totally acceptable. But at what point do you really start to care and start to elevate? And by elevate, meaning, at what point do you become a critic and you demand more out of a team that is spending money, making moves, getting Chicho Arango? When do you start to get bored of mediocrity? And when do you want to become or support an actual contending team? Yep. So just a couple of thoughts. I mean, it's a little frustrating. And I'm freaking one of the most positive people in life, dude. Alex, I've called you, bro. I've given you pep talks. Josh, I'm sure I've given you dude, I am like Mr. Positivity, bro. But I got to set that aside when we talk about Real Salt Lake, because it's been years since we've accomplished anything cool. Have we accomplished anything cool except for getting murals at the stadium? A solar parking lot?
I'll tell you,
think about it, dude. Like, no. Real Salt Lake's top accomplishments in the last 10 years. Let's name them real quick. A solar parking lot, murals, Spanish before the matches, maybe a cool kit in there. We get some good food in the stadium. Like, Josh, help me out, bro. What are some other cool things? And I can't say
fun moments, dude. Right? But fun moments only go so far.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, the run, Karate Kid, beating LAFC in the playoffs, the MLS Western Cup.
Those are cool, but there's nothing to show for it, right?
No, the conference final.
Yeah, you don't get a cool "you almost made it" trophy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
back to being sad.
I think we're at a point where we have to put pressure as media members on the club, due to the fact that you just went over the summer or over the season and spent 16 million, which is something that's never been done in this history of this club. And you're going out and you're having performances like that and tumbling down the table at the moment, at this point of the season where there's 6 games left. We need to put pressure on Real Salt Lake and be like, what's going on?
Yeah. What was remember when the salaries, not the salaries, but I think the spend per club came out, and there was a club at top who had like the most spend, but like one of the worst records in the league.
Toronto. Yeah, LA Galaxy.
It was probably Toronto or LA Galaxy. Yeah. But you gotta, you kind of gotta gauge what's going up there. What kind of changes, what kind of switching up on the staff side or on the coaching side? What are they doing?
On Toronto's end, boo to the president, boo to the coach. On the Galaxy's end, boo to the president, boo to the GM.
Yeah, and I just don't see that happening here.
I don't either.
I don't see it. Like, it's these guys, I love them to death, but a lot of people have just been kind of grandfathered in, and we live in a state where it's like toxic positivity, bad things happen, on to the next one. Let's go get a swig and we're happy, we're boys. And let's go lose next Saturday. It's going to be fun. We're going to lose. Let's just have fun and on to the next one. All right. Let's switch it up because this is a little morbid, a little depressing. Guys, I'm excited. Not really for the Wednesday match coming up. I really am not. As soon as I saw that it was FC Dallas has always just kind of had our number. They always tag a few goals on us. I believe Jesus Ferreira is healthy and playing. I'm thinking. Yeah, he is actually. Yep, he is. So for some reason or another, especially here at home, I've got vivid memories of just FC Dallas scoring goals and celebrating right in front of us. So I really think that with the state of RSL, a FC Dallas team that is getting a little bit more momentum, and you have Jesus Ferreira playing well, they're going to come in here and probably just give it to us 3-1, 4-1. That's my prediction for Wednesday. I don't want it to be that, but how do you guys feel going into this match, and what kind of result do you guys see happening?
Anytime I feel positive about a game, we blow it. So I'm going to say 4-1 FC Dallas. Crowd boos the team off the field. We all cry. Go back Saturday for more.
All right. Thank you, man. May I have another? All right. Alex, go for it, man. Tell us, what are we expecting Wednesday?
This is an FC Dallas team who, since the summer, has struggled defensively, which is not common for a team led by Nico Esteves. They're usually pretty solid, really solid defensively, and I think they've really struggled defensively this season. However, since the Leagues Cup break, they've seemed to be picking up a little bit. They just held a 1-1 against Seattle, which is a pretty good attack up to this point of the season. If they start figuring out defensively and they come in here playing how they played against Seattle, it's going to be a super, super, super tough match. However, if they play the way that they've been playing all summer, RSL can take advantage of that and use that to get the result and start building the confidence that this team so desperately needs. Again, I think at this point of the season, you lose this one, we're not in control of our destiny anymore, and RSL need to get the 3.
And everyone remember, I always hope I'm wrong. So,
Alex, I didn't hear a prediction in that.
I don't know if I want to give one.
Give it, dude. Bro, give it. We got to hear what you think.
I'm gonna stick to the somewhat more positive side, and I'm gonna say a 1-1 RSL draw
with a Chicho goal.
Result.
That's a positive. It's better than not winning.
Do you guys kind of tangent here? Think Demir's ever going to get to 50? Or do you think he's going to be stuck on 48 goals forever?
Not at this rate, man. You lose a lot of the service with Ruiz. You lose. I don't know, man. And the whole Musovski thing, and you're kind of relying on Chicho. I mean, unless like a deflection just comes off from a Chicho shot, that's kind of where I see those goals coming from. But I feel like Demir too. Yeah, I feel like Demir is he's always just kind of been like a deflection service guy. He's always there to clean up the mess beautifully. I think highly of him. And I don't know. I don't know if he'll get to the 50.
I hope he does. I bought a pretty sick Kaye shirt. But they're only going to make it if he hits 50. So if he doesn't hit 50, it's actually Kaye's fault for jinxing it.
Yeah. But when we were even talking about that, dude, that was so long ago that you said that you wanted to like compile a video of all of the 50 goals. That was a long time ago. And so for him to be stuck, dude, is just a tragedy. It's there's got to be options. How did we go from talking about this roster that had so much depth and so many options, and now it's like I feel like we're just kind of going in there, having to really formulate this roster, and now we're having to experiment because we can't trust certain players in their positions. Some refusing to play. For as a little bit of frustration that I have with the choices that Pablo might make, you also got to kind of see it that way, no?
Yeah, but it's also completely on him, right? It's all on coaching.
I think this team at the moment lacks leadership.
Yeah.
Justin Glad is the captain. He's the one wearing the armband for these games, and he's not in the best of form. He doesn't have that confidence, and we see that the moment you concede early in San Jose, the defense heads drops, and as a leader, it's your responsibility to step up and make sure that the heads don't drop. your other two leaders on this team, Marcelo Silva and Damir Kreilach, don't get on the field anymore. This team needs leaders to step up. They need players to step up and take a leadership role when the other leaders aren't present in this moment. Glad is not present as far as confidence goes, and Marcelo and Dami aren't playing.
So who do you give it to?
Who's going to step up?
Musovski, baby. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys. Well,
do we want to do one more topic?
Sure.
The supposed Luna comments. Do we want to talk about that?
Wait, hang on. Did we find those, or is that just hearsay? Okay, if it's hearsay, I don't want to talk about it.
All right, that's fair. I just wanted to make sure
it's not verifiable.
Okay.
But there has been some weird things coming out of like the Diego Luna universe. Someone, so I follow the there's an Facebook group. It's called like Real Salt Lake Till I Die. And somebody had posted a screenshot where Diego had reached out or posted selling like signed merchandise. And the text wrote, "Hey, I may not be here for long, looking for people to buy cool stuff that I might sign." And so people were alluding to that it could be fake. But also it was kind of like a screenshot of a DM with like his verified profile on there. Obviously, you can still kind of fake that, but also I don't really think that Diego Luna is like that big of a superstar to where people are going to be faking content for like the sake of likes. But then also in those threads, a lot of Real Salt Lake fans were saying that they have struck deals with Diego to buy signed boots or signed kits in the past, and it's not out of the norm. So, however which way you want to make money or sell merchandise, that's not really, I don't really care to say anything negative about that. Like, do it. But what was really interesting is that if it were true, Diego was saying that he may not be here for long. So the stuff that we're alluding to on the hearsay that Josh wanted to comment on, but I don't feel comfortable with commenting on it just because it's hearsay. It was, there was a source at the club basically saying that they were trying to work a way to get Diego out. And that's, we don't know. We don't know if that's true, so we're not going to solidify anything. I think that's fair.
But big if true, and we'll revisit if, we do find anything that legitimizes it. So,
but in the interim, if you want to go, if you want to follow Diego Luna and he's indeed selling merch, and you guys can verify that, then maybe the post where he's saying, "Hey, I'm not here for long," is somewhat true. Who knows? I like Diego.
And honestly, if they're shopping him to Europe and someone wants to spend millions of dollars on him, that's one thing, right? As long as it's not a force out type thing. So I hope there's interest from abroad. I hope we sell a player and make some money and he gets to go do some cool things in Europe. I think that'd be incredible.
Yeah. Then dude, hey, look, we're a small lake city still in a way, right? So for some players, when you get a hold of their merch, their boots, their kits or whatever, it's like you usually kind of stumble on that and you luck into that. But hey, this could be a cool way to get some Diego Luna signed boots. Who knows, man? Just make him an offer on IG. Just hit him up in the DMs or don't. But man, this has been a fun one. You guys know better than anybody. We love Real Salt Lake to death. We like the FO. We like the players. There's always going to be drama. It's our job, our responsibility to speak on it, keep you guys informed, the good, the bad. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of the RSL Show. Does anybody else have anything else to add before we step away?
No, sir.
Alex, you look like you had to say something, dude.
Just make sure to be out there Wednesday and Saturday. Go support Real Salt Lake because they need it. And let's put out all the good vibes for 3 points on Wednesday and Saturday.
All right. Guys, text us your predictions on RSL Show Twitter. RSL Show IG will be active on those. we'll be posting highlights of the games. If you guys want to follow us, we usually get them out a lot quicker than the club does. So it's a lot of fun on Twitter. Hang out with us. We'll see you guys soon, and much love to all of the RSL Show fans, both old and new. We love you. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening to us on the KSL Sports Network.